not the leopard we were looking for, but we'll take it. There's a leopard sitting in a tree. It's not in the area where we were looking. We very kindly got told by Tess that Kuchava was on Chitwa, so we managed to come down, and she's just in a tree. She's calling quite a bit. So that she's been calling for 2 days now, but maybe Ntsumie is just off somewhere, and she's trying to call Ntsumie back. It's possible. And that's maybe why she's sitting up in the tree calling from there. It'll kind of resonate around, and hopefully Ntsumie will spot her. The age that Ntsumie's at now, she's going to wander around. I mean, there was a few weeks ago, everybody was saying that she's gone. And then she turned up, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. You can see she's a hot cat, so obviously spent quite a bit of time walking around today looking for Ntsumie. Our ability to hear her calling is probably going to be a bit difficult because Rusty doesn't have a second mic now, so you're not going to probably hear her much, but she's kind of grunting and groaning up in the tree there, typical of a leopard kind of looking. It's not distressed in the way that she's calling. It's not like she's pacing up and down and calling and salivating. You can hear her calling now a little bit. Unfortunately, there's a car coming in, so I don't think you're going to pick up her calling. You might just see her mouth. You'll hear it. You worry a little bit when moms are calling like this, and you'll find that the desperation in the call gets louder and louder and louder as it goes. Can't find where she left Ntsumie, but like I was saying, she's at that age now where she's big enough to move around, and we know from experience and from times gone, they start to that do roam around. If you think of Lalamba and Hosanna and the likes, I mean, we had many sightings of calling for a long time and she wouldn't show up. So it's not something I would be too worried about just yet. Obviously it's not ideal, but we'll have to just see how it goes and what happens. Hopefully in some point this afternoon. It's a full-blooded. When they're not winning in terms of calls, sometimes do resort to full-blooded calls. It could also be starting to go into an estrus cycle, and maybe Mulawati's around. He's trying to find him. That's also very, very possible. Oh, I'm afraid that's what to move while she's still standing. Where do you think she's going to go? There's a car between us and where she is. We were kind of just filming top because of the angle. She might soar again from that position. She's at the. She's going to come down. Lots going. I wonder what is happening. And sometimes, there's just things that we don't fully understand, and it takes us a bit of time to figure out what's going on. And like I said, there's two options. It could be an estrus cycle that she's coming into now, or it could be a situation where she's looking for Ntsumie. It's one of the two. But the time with Ntsumie is going to be starting to get to that point where she's going to start to want to leave Ntsumie, so it's possible. It's the case. She's beautifully up the mound now. We'll try and get into a position to view what it. Unfortunately, Actually, I've got to try to get around all these cars. I don't know if we're going to win too much, but let's try. Try to slide in here. She's kind of facing in this direction, so it'll be nice if we can get into this little gap here and she stays there. I think Gat will be happy. Gat, is that alright for you? Perfect. Well, perfect is good. Perfect is what we want. When your cameraman says perfect, then it's always a good place. Shame, girl. You're clearly calling now. But how epic is this? To have on the mound perfectly. Shame, girl. But you see how she's using high when she's almost like she's trying to kind of get now to want to contact something, and then they're struggling to find it, then they often do this trees and call from there. But how awesome was that to get it calling